Hey, deep divers, smash that like button. Get ready for a deep dive. It's a wild one.
It
You'll be
is.
questioning everything you thought you knew about election
Yeah,
predictions.
yeah.
We're talking shadowy figures, millions of dollars,
Mhm.
and a potential plot twist straight out of a political thriller. So don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. You are not going to want to miss this one.
No, you are not. This is a story that really highlights the power of belief.
Right.
How even a single person can have a massive impact on the system designed to reflect collective wisdom.
Absolutely. Today's source material is a fascinating article from the Daily Beast. It's titled, Trump Betting Spike is Finally Explained. Blame the French. And you might be thinking to yourself, here we go again with the election interference. But hold on. This time it's not Russian bots or troll farms that are stirring the pot. It's a French high roller who's been dropping millions on pro-Trump bets.
Yeah, and you know what's so fascinating here? This isn't about
Mm.
a shadowy organization trying to manipulate the system from the outside. It's about an individual, a wealthy French national, as the New York Times confirmed, who seems to genuinely believe in Trump's chances and is willing to put his money where his mouth is.
I love it. Okay, so let's set the stage. Our story centers around Polymarket, a platform that's been making waves as a so-called stock market for current events.
Hmm.
You know, it's like a giant betting pool where you can buy and sell shares tied to different outcomes, like who will win the presidency, for example.
Yeah.
The price of those shares fluctuates based on what the crowd thinks will happen. The more people buy into a certain outcome, the higher the price goes.
Right. And for months, Polymarket had Trump and Harris neck and neck, just kind of hovering around that 50-50 mark.
Yeah.
Then, seemingly out of nowhere, things took a dramatic turn. In just a month, Trump's odds skyrocketed from 50.6% to a whopping 62%. It was like someone flipped a switch and suddenly everyone was betting on a Trump victory.
Yeah, it was wild. And that someone, or rather several accounts linked to the same someone, turned out to be our mysterious French gambler. Online sleuths started noticing these accounts pouring millions into pro-Trump bets across various scenarios. I mean, we're talking serious cash here. They even started analyzing the language used in the account's interactions, and everything pointed towards a French speaker.
It did. And this is where things get really interesting. Polymarket, to their credit, claims this guy wasn't trying to manipulate the market. They say he just has an extremely strong belief that Trump will win, and apparently an equally strong bank account.
Hold on, wait a minute, I'm getting whiplash here. One guy, millions of dollars, and suddenly the entire prediction market swings in his favor. This isn't just about him picking a winner. It's like he's single-handedly shifting the perceived odds, shaping the narrative around the entire election. What do you make of that?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If one person, even with, as the Times put it, extensive trading experience, can have such a dramatic impact, what does that say about the reliability of these platforms as predictors of actual outcomes? Are they truly reflecting the collective wisdom of the crowd? Or are they just a playground for the wealthy and well-connected to push their own agendas?
Yeah, and here's another layer to this whole thing. You know, the prediction market scene isn't exactly a monolith. There are other players out there, like Predicted and Kelshi, and guess what? They've also seen a shift towards Trump. Though it's unclear if our French friend had a hand in those movements as well.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, is this a polymarket anomaly, or is there something bigger at play here?
It really throws a wrench into the whole idea that, these platforms are immune to manipulation. Because if one person can do this, what's stopping a coordinated group with even more resources
Or,
from completely hijacking the system?
yeah, that's a scary thought, and that's a very real concern, especially when you look at who's championing polymarket. We're talking about Elon Musk, a guy who's never been shy about sharing his, let's just call them unconventional ideas. He's a huge proponent of polymarket, arguing that it's more accurate than traditional polls because actual money is on the line.
Right. And there's a certain logic to that. If people are willing to put their hard-earned cash on the line, it stands to reason they have a stronger conviction than someone simply clicking a button in a poll. But then you have folks like Democratic strategist Simon Rosenberg who are calling foul, you know,
Oh.
labeling it polymarket voodoo and warning that it's susceptible to manipulation, especially by foreign actors.
Right. And here's where things get even more tangled. Polymarket has been largely inaccessible to Americans since 2022 because of regulatory hurdles. So if Americans can't even participate, how accurately can it reflect U.S. public sentiment? And let's not gloss over the fact that Polymarket is funded by Peter Thiel, a prominent Republican Party, or GOP, mega donor, and close friends with, you guessed it, Elon Musk. It's starting to feel like a very exclusive club, where the rules are made up and the points don't matter, except when they involve millions of dollars and the potential to sway an election.
It's a bit of a paradox, isn't it? On one hand, you have this argument that prediction markets are a more democratic, data-driven way to gauge public opinion. But on the other hand, you have concerns about accessibility, transparency, and the potential for a small group of wealthy individuals to exert an outsized influence on the results. It's almost like we're replacing one set of biases with another.
Exactly. All right, so we've got a mysterious French high roller, millions of dollars sloshing around, and a whole lot of questions about the integrity of these prediction markets. But let's zoom back in on Polymarket for a second and talk about how it actually works. Because it's not just about betting on who will win the election, right? You can get really granular with it.
Absolutely. You can bet on all sorts of specific outcomes, like which candidate will win a particular state or even the popular vote. And this is where the story gets even more intriguing. Remember how our French gambler was spreading his bets across various scenarios, all favoring Trump? Well, one of his big plays was on Trump winning Pennsylvania, a crucial battleground state. It's almost like he's placing strategic bets to paint a picture of an inevitable Trump victory. What do you think? Could this be a calculated attempt to influence not just the odds, but the entire narrative around the election? It's like he's playing 4D chess while everyone else is stuck on checkers. And here's the kicker. Even though this gambler agreed to stop creating new accounts without notice, his existing bets are still in play, continuing to exert their influence on the market. So what we're seeing on Polymarket might not be a reflection of the collective wisdom, but rather the lingering impact of one man's very expensive gamble.
And that brings us to a point raised by Polymarket's founder, Shane Copeland. He argues that even if this individual's bets are having a big impact, they're ultimately just reflecting the collective belief in Trump's chances. In other words, he's suggesting that the market is simply responding to the information available, and this gambler's actions are part of that information flow. So is this guy a puppet master pulling the strings, or just a really savvy investor who's reading the tea leaves and betting accordingly? It's a tough question, and one that speaks to the larger debate around the validity and potential pitfalls of these platforms. Are they a valuable tool for understanding public sentiment and potential outcomes, or are they just another layer of noise in an already chaotic information landscape?
Yeah, it's a real head spinner. And it underscores the need for a critical eye when navigating these prediction markets, Because they're not some infallible crystal ball.
Right.
They're reflections of human behavior with all its quirks and complexities.
Exactly.
Huh.
And, this case is a perfect example of how even seemingly objective data can be influenced by subjective factors,
Yeah.
like personal beliefs and access to resources. It's like that saying, money talks. But in this case, it's practically shouting from the rooftops.
Yeah.
And everyone's trying to figure out what it's saying and whether they should be listening. It makes you wonder if this single individual can create such a dramatic shift in the perceived odds. What could a coordinated effort achieve? It's a bit unsettling to think about, especially in the context of an election where the stakes are so high.
Absolutely. And it raises some crucial questions for you, our listeners.
Right.
How much weight should we give to these prediction markets? In the face of potential biases and external influences, are they truly giving us an accurate picture of what's to come, or are they just another layer of noise in an already chaotic information landscape?
It's a great question. We've uncovered a lot in this deep dive, haven't we? A mysterious French gambler, millions of dollars in pro-Trump bets, and a prediction market suddenly swinging in his favor. It's a story that highlights the power of belief, the influence of money, and the complexities of these platforms that claim to reflect the wisdom of the crowd.
Yeah, it really is a good one. It's a reminder that even in a data-driven world, human behavior, both individual and collective, still plays a significant role in shaping outcomes. And that's something to keep in mind as we navigate the ever-evolving landscape of information and predictions.
So as you follow the 2024 election, remember what we've learned today. Don't just take the numbers at face value. Dig deeper, question your assumptions, and consider the sources. And hey, while you're at it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on this wild ride. Until next time, deep divers, stay curious and keep questioning everything.